I'm going to record.
This meeting is being recorded.
And we have it on Screencastify, and I'm using my phone. Okay. Here we go. Allie, start.
All right, so our project is on the American Revolution, and we're doing for fifth graders. So milestone 1 is our launching the project, and it's going to be week 1. So our driving question is, when looking at the American Revolution, what other sides were there besides the British and the Americans? Explain. We're thinking that milestone 1 will take about 2 days, and we have our lesson plan linked there. So kind of our plan for day 1 is we're going to have our students take a pretest to see what their prior understanding is of the American Revolution. And then students will also have time to explore an edu blogs online, which is our final project is going to be a podcast. So this will give them time to explore what that website looks like, because that's what they'll be using for. And students are also going to create their own newspapers, and that'll be the same groups that they do for their project podcast. And if we did this online, we would do like a Google survey or a Google Doc, so that way they can do the pretest and then they'll have to explore on their own time. And teacher will assess the pre-assessments and newspaper articles to ensure that students have the information they need and also see how they need to proceed. Key vocabulary would include revolution, colonies, indigenous, social classes, historians, enslavement, slaves, podcast, and treaty. And then our 2 tech tools are there at the bottom.
Cool. And then milestone 2 is build knowledge, understanding, and skills. So that's for the first 2 weeks. We did our milestone driving questions. What do you already know about the American Revolution? What information can you gain from looking at other students' podcasts and ideas? What were the major events within the American Revolution and the importance of them? What were the advantages and disadvantages of each side of the revolution? And what have you learned thus far about the American Revolution? How can we use these ideas to create an informative newspaper? So then each day, we have day 1, students are going to take a pretest. Day 2, students are going to explore edublogs online just so they can get used to the website and already be looking at it. Then they'll be placed into groups by common interest for the project. Then day 3, students will be given a Revolutionary War timeline so they can actually like map out the specific dates, so they're more aware of like when the events happen. Day 4, they're going to watch a video on the advantages and disadvantages for each side, and then they're going to make a comparison chart. And then for day 5, they're going to create their own newspaper articles to assist them with the podcast that they'll eventually make. We got some of our standards in there. These are just our simple steps to break down the lesson, which I just explained. We gave a formative assessment for each one. I'm not going to go over all of them, but pretest, timeline, the comparison chart. What else? Key vocabulary, things like revolution, Minuteman, timeline, Boston Tea Party, foreign aid, surplus, rebellion, glossary, things like that, just so they're getting used to the vocabulary we're using in class. And then we did link all of the tech tools and resources. We just kind of overdid it for this one just so that they could see what the students would be using for each day. And those are the links and milestone 3.
Okay, this is milestone 3. It's for weeks 3 and 4. This is another like 5 days worth of lessons where the students are going to help or start working on answers for the guiding question. They're going to produce papers and activities that show a clear understanding of what both sides of the American Revolution were. And our driving question is, how did the differing viewpoints about the American Revolution affect its outcome? And then if you go down and look at the days, day 1 is modeling, guided practice, or independent practice. And students are going to split into 2 teams within the classroom. We're going to have the Patriots and the Loyalists. Day 2, you're just going to look at the newspaper articles that you've made and then meet up with a partner and peer review each other's work. Day 3, you're going to write a letter from the perspective of somebody else in the American Revolution. So it's looking at what the other sides were. Day 4, the students are going to be placed into 2 groups on either side of the room again, and then the teacher's going to read multiple prompts that might occur, and the students are going to debate with the classroom. And day 5, they're going to go in their podcast groups and determine what information needs to be put in the podcast and kind of get more experience with working with EduBlogs. And then we have, let's see. Oh, so this is just more of our like lesson steps. And then if you scroll down there, where did it go? And more online resources, I think. Yep, down at the bottom. So that's more of the online resources. And then milestone 4.
Alrighty, so our milestone 4 is on week 4, and this is where they'll develop and critique products and like get answers to the guided questions. So our overview is present their American Revolution progress to the entire 5th grade. And our milestone driving question for this one is, when looking at the American Revolution, what other sides were there besides the British and the Americans? And they have to explain that. This milestone will take about 2 days. And on the first day, students will present as a group, like their podcasts that they've been making during class. And then on the second day, after they've all presented, they'll split up in different reflection groups and basically reflect on the different podcasts that everybody made. If this was an online class, they would use something like Zoom or WebEx for the first day, or Microsoft Teams. And then for the public presentation, it would just be an audience of other 5th grade classes within the school, and the presentations will be posted on EduBlogs. And then self-assessment day would be the next day. And then for our tech tools and resources, we just have the EduBlogs, and then they would just submit for an evaluation of their podcast.
Yeah. So that's our 4 milestones. And then which milestone did we say we wanted a little bit more feedback on?
I think was it 2?
I think it was 2. Yeah, because that's where the markups are. So if you guys could give us some more feedback for milestone 2, that would be greatly appreciated. That's the build knowledge, understanding, and skills. Yeah. Is there anything else that we need to address in the recording?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Awesome. So if you guys could do that, that would be great.